And the winner is Coventry.
Amazing. We're just so happy for our city and everyone back home. It's an incredible achievement. Thank you.
What's your biggest thing on your wish list? You got the £3 million grant. What are you going to do?
We're going to celebrate youth. We're going to celebrate our diversity. And we're so excited for everybody to be sent to Coventry.
They're being sent to Coventry tonight. Congratulations. The celebrations are going to go on for some time. Thank you so much. Let's give a big cheer to Coventry.
Well done. They want spectacle that brings in tourism. But culture is more than entertainment. The City of Culture has to be more than a marketing tool. Since winning, Hull has seen 1 billion invested and a boost of 6 million in 2017. You can really see the attraction of being the City of Culture. But Coventry needs to be a good city to be an artist in.
Field of dreams, isn't it? It's like if you make it happen, they will come. You know, it's that idea. You kind of got to get on and do it yourself, I think.
Culture is also part of a much bigger infrastructure, and I think the money that comes with this kind of event is obviously not just about fun.
When Coventry was named the UK City of Culture, everyone considered this as the best Christmas gift ever. However, what exactly does this title mean? Does it mean that artists can expect their professional problem solving, such as provision of the studios, centres to exhibit their work, or is it more about the boost in the city's infrastructure?
Who could disagree with improving Coventry's profile? Redevelopment, investment, tourism, jobs. But as Martin Green, CEO of Hull City of Culture Company, said, it's not about art, it's about regeneration and investment.
The Cov Culture team has already presented the 10-year plan for the growth in the city. It is based on 5 major goals they are going to achieve. These include partnership, lifelong learning, diversity, health and well-being, as well as economic growth. However, how can culture and artists benefit out of this? I decided to ask Jeff Wilcox about what kind of changes we can expect.
I think that's an important question, and I think there are two answers, or 2 ways of answering that. One is, I don't know the answer to that, because the people of the city have to decide that. And when we wrote the cultural strategy, we were really keen that we didn't give a roadmap. We didn't give a map that said, we're at point A, and the goal is to get to point B, and this is the route we take there. How we designed it was, as I say, based on a lot of really in-depth research around the city and its economy and its demographics and its people and how it was structured socially, and all the things around its huge levels of inequality and poverty, also set against some very, very wealthy and affluent areas, and looking at the gap between. We didn't want to set out to say this is what we have to do in order to make these changes. What we did instead was say, look, here are a series or a range of issues and concerns and things that we can do better in this city. This is how culture could potentially help with those. Now it's over to you.
As you can see, Jeff feels very positive about the Cov Culture team and the changes we can expect in the city. However, I've spoken to so many artists, and most of them said that they're more than sure that art is going to be used just as a marketing tool. The reason is that most of the Cov Culture team employees don't reply to their messages or avoid meeting with them.
I do know they basically ignored a huge chunk, whether it was deliberate or whether it was just through ignorance, a huge chunk group of artists who are quite significant within the city and outside of the city. And we were asked the question, what international artists would you like in the City of Culture? We have our own international artists in Coventry already, but it's not on the prescribed, they're not possibly on their prescribed list.
I was planning to have a retrospective exhibition at the Herbert. Now I'm 70. After 2 years negotiations, they eventually said no, which was their privilege. However, they said that they wanted to concentrate with their partners in the run-up to the City of Culture, that is the Courtauls, V&A and the National Portrait Gallery, which means that they're going to have they're going to buy in already touring exhibitions from there, which is lazy curatorial practice. It also hints that it's going to be closed off to Coventry-based artists. And one would think, in the run-up to the City of Culture, they would be doing that. That is, promoting Coventry artists. This is the City of Culture effect, or at least what the Herbert has decided to do in the run-up to the City of Culture, that is, to ban Coventry artists from their galleries.
I decided to visit the City of Hull, the previous winner of City of Culture, and see what artists from there think about it.
It's slow, isn't it? It's like things don't happen overnight. It will happen, and it will happen in Hull. You know, I mean, there is a new arts gallery in Hull, the Humber Street Gallery, that isn't necessarily for local artists. But there's nothing to say that local artists won't exhibit in there. There is a thing about quality, isn't there? You know, just because you're a local artist doesn't mean you've got the right to be able to be part of this thing. It's like the work that the local artists make has got to stand up to the stuff that's coming in by people who are, you know, who've sort of got the experience. You know, the work that the City of Culture people will bring into the city will be amazing if it's anything like Hull. And then it's up to the artist to kind of, you know, match that, really.
The local artists, my group has included, we thought that was going to be the money for us. You know, we thought that creative communities. And I'm involved with an art group that we've got about 30 artists involved, and we put a bid in thinking, oh, well, we'll get it because we are the grassroots artists and the rest of it. And we didn't get that money from that grant. But that grant was actually aimed at communities within Hull that aren't necessarily involved with art, who, you know, so it was more about developing a broader engagement. It was more of a kind of broader engagement programme. And I don't think that was very well communicated. So I think there was a lot of disappointment at that point where artists thought, well, why haven't we got this money? You know, we've been, like the group we've been doing this for 30 years and, you know, but with hindsight now, I realise that that's what, it was slightly poor communication, I think. So I would agree. There wasn't an open door policy where you could just go and chat.
I've tried to contact them about 5 times in the run-up to the bid, and it's kind of fallen on deaf ears. I've also, whilst being in a conference at Warwick, very, very early on, one of the people that was there from the bid, gent, kind of dismissed me. For some reason, but kind of I feel a little bit like the team that's been brought in or parachuted in. I think maybe they have tentative links to the art world or here and the music world, but it feels a little bit like they're on the outside and they don't really know the landscape of the arts in Coventry.
I've tried to contact the Cov Culture team for a couple of times as well. However, most of the times the replies were saying that they're too busy to speak to me or they simply don't have time. So I decided to visit them directly and try to get the interview. So let's see what happens next. Hello. Hi, my name is Laura. Can I just ask you for a quick interview, if that's okay, please?
How long's the quick interview? I was
Just like
to get a nice lawyer.
It's about 5 minutes.
You're on film.
5 minutes.
Interview as you walk.
You can interview us as we walk.
Can she do it as she walks? Can you film her as she walks?
Oh yeah, but later on, I mean, if you...
Okay, but 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's just 5 minutes.
Okay. I'm Nicole Malatesta, fundraising officer at City of Culture Trust.
Basically, I just wanted to ask you, I've spoken to some of the visual artists of Coventry, and they all complain about the lack of communication between your office, and then they say basically that you don't...
Should we just pause for a second? Sorry. What questions are you going to ask then? I think you were just going to ask general oversight ones. You're asking about a concern that's been expressed.
Yeah.
I think that's probably better done in writing rather than by email. Better than by
I've contacted you for a couple of times, but basically...
Have you got a copy of the email you've sent then if no one's replied? Have you got have you got the email on your device so we can see who it went to?
You see, that's the 20th of February.
Okay. Well, Jen is the lady up there, but she might ask you to call back. But if you wanted to speak to her...
Oh yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay, and your name, sorry?
Yeah, that's fine. And I've spoken to so many artists, and they say that there's a lack of communication between the City of Culture and them, that you don't react to their questions, you basically ignore them, or is that true?
Well, obviously I'm not going to say, yeah, sure, I ignore everyone. No, and that's not true at all, and that actually hurts my feelings a little bit. Until Monday, there was just me that was the marketing person. And obviously there's lots of channels that requests can come in. We get emails in through the info@mailbox. We get messages through Facebook and Twitter, not so much Instagram, and we get phone calls. And I try and answer as many as possible. And I will answer if someone has messaged me on Facebook or Twitter, especially. I will reply. So we try to be as open as possible. So anyone that has, in future, anyone that says to you that we've ignored them or we haven't responded, I'd love to know, one, who they are, and give them my personal contact details, show them where the office is, because I would never, ever, ever want that to be the case.
So, as you can see, the creative company of Coventry, the City of Trust, denies all the allegations and says they do reply to artists and people. So, is it really more about the money or about the art?
The City of Culture can be a step up in culture and art in Coventry, and not just a year's jamboree with artists coming up from London and about tourism. For me, legacy is very important for communities and the Coventry artists, the artists who are based in Coventry, the musicians, poets and others. Nobody would object to Coventry attracting the world's best, but it has to be more than a horse town, more than a venue. This whole move to the City of Culture reminds me of Hornsey in '68 when I was a student. Hornsey was a public relations miracle, yet the reality, with rapid expansion, departments spread all over North London in schools and toilets, etc., contradictions of fantasy and reality, glossy colour supplement images, and its fragmentation of colleges, fragmentation of the college and alienation. Similarly, the City of Culture, the bid, where contradictions abound, with the hype and enthusiasm on one hand and the reality of reduced provision for artists on the other.
Instead of the city building, soon we will be able to see a new hotel. So I spoke to the architect from Coventry to find out what advice she has for Coventry artists. Did I understand that right? You suggest to visual artists of Coventry to start looking for another spaces, despite the fact that they don't have, there's a huge lack of studios, places to exhibit their work right now.
There is. I can see that and I hear that on a regular basis, but I think that sometimes there are unexpected spaces that if you're looking for a very particular kind of space. Sometimes we have to adapt and be very open to possibilities. If anybody had said to Alan Wright at the beginning, he would have been had this number of exhibitions, he would have said, no, don't be ridiculous. But it's happened, but it's actually due to local artists, local people, support from folks from a whole vast array of places in Coventry that has made it happen. Certainly, I mean, I run the Twitter feed, and the generosity of people in sharing ideas and sharing knowledge, that's what's made it happen. So Coventry artists gather together and just observe and look around, open up your mind to the possibilities.
For me, building up to it, the idea that this was going to be about the grassroots artists in Hull, I never really thought it would be. I thought it was going to be more about tourism and about changing the perception of the place. Yeah, like as you say, it's giving money to a city that needs an injection of something, you know, whether that's economic or whether that's the perception.
You know, so many people in Coventry, they have a sceptical point of view on this project. Was it like that in Hull as well?
Yeah, there was lots of scepticism. At first, everybody was really excited about getting it, and then it seemed to turn into a kind of like an impatience for what was going to happen, and then also a sort of, yeah, I think you know, artists did sort of expect maybe more from it than what they got, which potentially is a shame that they didn't, you know, get what they wanted. But also, I think, you know, I don't think it was necessarily just for the artists. I mean, it was the whole idea of the City of Culture is that everybody benefits from it.